Hello, I'm here.
We all live.
Hello, everybody. So welcome to the webinar on Amazon SEO. So with us today, we've got Prabhat, we have got Matt, and we've got, I'm going to pronounce it wrong, Emmanuel Arosia. I'm just basically going to start with Prabhat, who I met some time back in Brighton. He's a sort of expert on Amazon Marketplace, and he's going to be basically leading this today. Emmanuel as well, he's the head of SEO at Tribute Digital, service providing, well, the client list is phenomenal. Do you want to introduce yourself, Emmanuel? Oh, he's actually just dropped in. So do you want to introduce yourself, Emmanuel?
Yes. Yes, thank you. Okay. Hi, guys. My name is Emanuele Rosio. I am head of SEO in Tribute Digitale, one of the biggest Italian company for e-commerce service providing. We're covering from logistics to customer services to digital marketing strategies and SEO. Inside, my team have 12 person. We're covering some SEO strategies from SEO site. SEO from Amazon is the new one around half years ago. We can provide this to reading more book, improve our knowledge from some conference like Brighton SEO to meet the best expertise. And now we produce this for some clients because we have 200 clients around the fashion industries, the design industries like Maserati, Ferrari, Montblanc. For a part of this, we're covering the SEO for Amazon.
Awesome. And Matt, do you want to also introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Matt Anderson. I'm the co-founder of Marketplace Amp, so a specialist marketplace agency that looks at Amazon SEO, eBay, Alibaba, Tmall, JD. I'm also the owner of Montage Communications, so that's been going sort of 15 years, and we've worked in the retail consumer space over that time with the likes of Starbucks and B&Q. And at the moment, over the last 7 years, we've been working on Amazon content, specifically internationally, for the likes of Brabantia, Rough Guides, Amazon Pappers, companies like that. So, yeah, it's a very interesting space.
Amazing. Okay. Well, my name's Jerry White. I'm a SEO guy. I've been working client side, agency side, and everything else like that. Yep, I'm not going to say too much on this presentation. I'm just basically going to pass over to Prabhat. Prabhat, you've actually already gone full screen, so do you want to kind of introduce yourself and take it from there?
Yeah, sure. So, hello everyone. My name is Prabhat Shah, and I've been working with Amazon and eBay sellers for the last 10 years. So previous 6 years of my experience is working with a retailer. That's where I learned. So for the past 4 years, I'm working with a company which I developed called Day-to-Day eBay. And my primary work is training businesses fully. And so today we'll be talking about Amazon SEO, as you already know. So for the next 20 minutes, we'll be talking about two factors. Two main important things. One, we'll talk about factors that influence your product discoverability. And then secondly, we'll talk about some of the Amazon marketing services, paid ads that can help you boost your product discoverability and sales. So let's jump into the topic right now. There will be a Q&A round towards the end. So if you've got any questions, just fire it through. So if you look up Amazon search result, this is a typical search page result, as you can see on the screen. So at the top, there is headline search ad, which is paid search. A second, you can see there is a sponsored ads. And then there is organic search result. Towards the end, there is sponsored. And on the right-hand side, sponsored ads. So we are seeing a very heavy presence of sponsored ads in the last few years. That's basically because there is too many competitions or increase of competition than 10 years ago when we started. Also, there are sponsored ads on the product details page, which typically you're ranking your product on your competing brand page. More recently, we've started seeing Amazon Choice. So Amazon Choice typically appears on any product that has got very high sales velocity. And what we understand from Amazon Choice is it's made for customers to buy through Alexa. So if somebody wants to buy waterfall tap in this particular examples, then Alexa will choose this product page and somebody can buy through. So so what are the factors that influences your product discoverability? So we'll run through 5 key things. The first, to start with, FBA, then conversion factor, dispatching on time, improving product reviews, and optimizing for shares. So FBA typically is fulfillment by Amazon. So you send your stock to Amazon's warehouse and they pick it and pack the stock for you when it is sold. So Prime is one of the successful loyalty tool in retail industry at the moment. So they with the increasing number of subscribers all the time. And also Prime is good for any sellers because there is a trust and customers get delivered next day and there is free return. So with any products with FBA or Prime logo on it, there is higher chance of conversion, which means your product will be ranked high. If you look up a stat of 10,000 sellers, and this is a research published by Marketplace Pulse, 58% of the 10,000 US Amazon sellers are using FBA service and 40% of European one. So it is definitely the right tool to start with. Additionally, FBA when the product got FBA on your listings, there is high chance of winning the buy box. So for example, if you are competing with your competitor on the same product, like on this example, there is 2 people selling the same product, you've got more chances of winning the buy box if you've got FBA. Second factor is shipment time. If you are shipping your products within a good time, which means your order is standing, your account health will be in a good standard, which allows your product ranking to be in a good way. So for example, if you lose your account health, then the chances of your product being ranked high is very minimal. If you are doing FBA, it's good to keep the stock within a good supply. Generally, it's 4-week supply is a good idea. Product reviews. So this is the third factor we are talking today. So new reviews and verified reviews are getting more importance now, and also reviews that have got more helpful likes that will have a higher weight. So it's good to proactively manage those reviews and create a process that we deal with negative reviews. Deal with negative reviews, meaning if we do get negative reviews, then it's always best to talk to a customer first and resolve any issues they have. Customers can always change your product reviews, but Amazon cannot, and they will not unless the reviews violate Amazon's policy. And also we can encourage customers to write positive reviews by sending follow-up emails to an acceptable standard. Otherwise, our reviews may not increase in the way we want to. And also negative reviews do impact negatively on the product. So if you look up the example of the jacket below, it's got 1-star review. So it's very unlikely that you will get ranked higher than any others. So if you look up the review here, what we have found, the number of reviews appearing on the order is not chronological anymore. What we found, if any reviews get higher helpful likes, then it appears to be on the top of all the reviews. So, so what are the common ways to improve reviews? Generally, it's good to approach a loss leader approach, which is no secret. So generally, when you launch a product, you launch product at a very low price, and then when the sales increase, when the organic ranking increase, then you can increase the price to a optimum level. In the US, there is early reviewers program. So it allows a brand owner to give products at a standard, and also it helps when you enroll your program into early reviewers program, then Amazon will help you boost your product reviews through their own legitimate process. So that's again a credible way to increase the product reviews. And the cost of these early reviewers programs is not much to the extent of amount of reviews you can get otherwise. Moving on to the next factor, which is optimizing for Amazon SEO. So let's move on with each of the individual factors, starting with first factors as price. So price is a good factor that will help you rank on the top of the search, but also we cannot always lower the price. So we generally, what we can do is when you launch a product, you can lower the price at the initial stage, and then you continue increasing the price to an optimum level. And the next one, paid ads. So we did see the position of our paid ads before. So it can be in the top, on the right-hand side, on the bottom, or on the product detail page. And these paid ads are available in most of the categories, as you can see on the screen, but in not all the categories. So if you look up any typical example of if the paid ads is any good for the sales, you can see on the screen around 30% of a turnover of any typical client can be from paid ads. So this is something that we mustn't be ignoring. So there are three kinds of paid ads, starting with sponsored ads. So sponsored ads appear on the top, below, and the right-hand side of the search. And there are two kinds of sponsored ads, automated and manual. Sponsored ads can be for Seller Central and Vendor Central. And we measure the effectiveness of sponsored ads by cost of conversion and search term effectiveness. So when we optimize or when we work on sponsored ads, general practice is to use automated ads, which means we are allowing our product content to display based on customer's query. So we don't actually bid on any keywords at that stage. So when we allow that automated ads to run, we are harvesting the keywords, and those keywords could be downloaded through search term reports, and you can use those keywords that's working well onto your manual ads. We've also seen it's a good approach to keep your automated ads running so that you are creating a continuous flow of traffic. You can add negative keywords on the automated ads to prevent any waste of sales. So continuing to the best practice of sponsored ads, it's good to start with a budget that you are optimal. You can get better result with. There is no point starting with something that's not going to give you enough result, like bidding very low. So initially you expected some waste, but that is to harvest the keywords. That's going to work quite well. Then other factor we'd want to look at our ads is sponsored ads as ACoS, which is advertising cost of sale. So in this example, if our product sales is generating 33% profit, then we've got 33% margin to play with for our sponsored ad. So we want to stay within that 33% margin if you want to break even. Anything less, that's really good. So this is a typical example of what search term report looks like. As you can see on your P column, it shows the sales, and you can see your customer search terms in C column. So when we sort this data in order of sales, we get the keywords that's converting quite well. You may see there are ASIN numbers sometimes on the customer search terms, like you can see in the row 30 and column C. So ASIN number appears in the search terms column because your product got appeared on that competing product page. Continuing with the sponsored best practices, there are research tools like Sonar tools that will help you find out what keywords are highly searched for on Amazon. And these are, SonarTool is a specialist for Amazon keyword research. So it's well worth using this. And this automated ads, you would keep it for 4 weeks or less than that if you like, to generate enough impressions and clicks and enough data. Then you start working with manual ads. And when you work with manual ads, it's common practice to start removing keywords that are working well. And if any keyword is working well, it's good to increase the bids if there is any need. Then to create your sponsored ad campaigns, it's also good to have one limited amount of keywords within one campaign so that you can monitor it really well. Use long tail keywords like any other paid ads principle. It works quite well. Negative words works quite well during automated ads to limit the waste. Bear in mind, the reports are available for last 60 days, so it's good to monitor it on a periodic basis. So once your manual ads is working quite well, then starting with BidPlus is really good because it allows you to pay 50% more in return for a higher amount of sales. Then when we are actually running your sponsor ads, it's good to go through your process of sponsor ads. So for example, create a process. So what actions you take in the next 3 or 4 weeks. And it's good to write that down before we start the ad so that if the result deviates from our target, you know what next action to do. Campaign structure wise, you can create campaign structure in various ways. You can create campaign structure by product type or brand name, or you can create campaign structure by a keywords type. And then many of the sellers have already expanded into the US and the European platforms. And if you look at European platforms, they work much the same. So you can still use SonarTools to do the research, but the principle of sponsor ads, it works same as the UK one or the US one. And we've also found some of the English keywords works quite well in the European platform. Right, moving on to product titles. So product titles are searchable, and it's important factor to work with it initially because it makes logical sense to spend more time on the keywords on the title. So there is typically 80 to 100 characters length, but it can vary based on the category of the product. If you look up Amazon backend, you can see there is a characters limit. Just follow that up on your listings. There are other keywords tools like so you can use Google Keywords Planner or SEMrush or Scientific Keyword Tool to do some research. Key features. Amazon allows 5 main key features, and generally it's 500 characters maximum length, but it can vary based on the category again. So I'd suggest you look at the back end of your Amazon account to see what is the limit. And if you look up one example here, this is a very well optimized keyword features, and they are ranked. So you can use your keywords that you find from your research to optimize these 5 key features. Product descriptions. It's allowed to 2,000 characters limit, and then these are also indexed. So if you want to create a rich product description, you can use HTMLs like bold or paragraph chains for that. And the good part of this is you can elaborate as much as possible, and also if there are any keywords which you cannot put on the title or key features because of character limit, you can include that into product descriptions. Structured data. So when we're talking about structured data, we are talking about MPNs and EN number and so on. And these are really, really important when we are talking about products such as electronics or computers or other appliances. And with EN number, it's best to use a GS1's legitimate EN numbers on your listings. Search terms. Now, on the back end of Amazon allows 5 different rows and 50 characters length of each on each row. And Amazon have started already flagging a warning to say, do not use any repetition, and most importantly, not to use competing brand names. So what are the best practices of this is it's good to use the words that is not on the content, because repetition doesn't mean that you get enough more weight on that. And it's also good to use synonyms or common abbreviations of the listings or keywords. There is no need to use commas or semicolons. And if you look up a typical example here, as you can see on Amazon's page, for example, abbreviation LOTR for Lord of the Rings, it's a good example to use that way. Or you can see this example here, there is alternative keywords, and also there are variations like Valentine's Day gift, Mother's Day gift, that works really, really well. So it's not allowed to use competing brand name. Your account can get suspended, or if you're not putting your right terminology, as in if you are putting the terminology that doesn't belong to your product, your account can get suspended. So please be mindful of that. And with search terms, if we are using competing brand names, you could be infringing your competing brand name. So your listings can get suspended, if not account. So the last one is parent-child relationship. So it's good to put all the parents and childs together, such as if the product is differentiating by color and size, then it's good to put them together, because if one or two of the products is working quite well, then it brings all the group products on the search result. And also, if there are reviews on each of the product, they get listed together. So that immediately gives you better ranking of the product. In another way, you are you are not working 3 times harder for 3 products if you are grouping them together. So typical example, as you can see on the screen here, you can see 3 different coffee making machines being listed together. So a very quick recap, there is no secret to Amazon SEO as far as I'm concerned, or from my practical experience. I've gone through the checklist of doing everything right and then do my own experiment. And then it's good to trial FBA if you haven't. Invest time in getting product reviews, and most importantly, create process-driven approach. So you are creating all step-by-step method, and you're covering all the aspects what we discussed today. And most importantly, do your own experiment, because things change all the time with Amazon, and you will see your result when you're doing your own experiment better. Thank you very much, and I'm done.
Awesome, thank you. So we've got a few questions now from the audience. By the way, we can still see your screen, so right. Let's start with some questions. Is that a good idea? We've got a few questions come in. One of the top ones was, what's the difference between SEO for Amazon and, sorry, for mobile versus desktop? Matt, do you want to take that one?
Mobile versus desktop, there isn't a vast amount of difference, to be honest. There's good optimization for keywords and search on there. There is a difference between desktop and mobile AMS. So what we're seeing is on a mobile app, on the Amazon app, for example, headline search ads will appear very prominently, but there's less sponsored products on there. So the space is less cluttered. But you've got to bear in mind that well-optimized content with good keyword within the bullet points is valid, and also A+ content, which we'll no doubt talk about, more like the magazine style format that when people are scrolling through on mobile is very engaging.
And while your pub is getting slightly noisier at the minute. Okay, so next one. They were sort of talking about how much impact paid ads influence Amazon SEO. Prabhat, that's probably one for you, I would guess.
Yeah, sure. So what we've found with paid ads, we have seen increase in sales of any particular product, and that's obviously have an impact on organic one. But I wouldn't say that paid ads has direct impact on organic sales.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so You sort of mentioned about the fact that there's like the multivariant versus, and you're basically saying that you should almost go for the multivariant where it's like all the different colors. That's correct, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. It's Amazon's policy as well to put all the multivariants together, but also it makes sense that it.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. So it makes sense for a listing to be all the colors and all the sizes together, because it's typically somebody wouldn't search for a variation, but they would search for the product title, say for example, a coffee machine. And when somebody lands on that page, then there's a choice of different colors or different sizes.
Okay. Perfect. So the one kind of questions that I've sort of seen, or at least been talking about, is like the fake reviews. There seems to be a lot of fake reviews in Amazon. I mean, without saying whether or not you do it, I'm not going to ask you that question publicly. What's your kind of view if maybe competitors are doing it? What's your viewpoint at the moment? Manuel, do you want to lead on that one?
Yeah, it's a big problem for us. It's the same because we know some agency, they use it for to improve the product, and we double check with other people inside the team to understand which review are fake or are true. It's not simple, because some agencies are very good to create the fake news like real. And when we find it, it's because we make a double check, like a mail to take a feedback. If they don't respond to us, it's for us fake, and we delete it.
Yeah, I think it's with the reviews, it is a big issue, and Amazon are actively policing it at the moment. I'm certainly talking to one brand that they made the mistake of paying for some reviews, and Amazon has spotted it, and they've depressed their listings. So I think if you do see competitors that are blatantly faking reviews, then raise a case with Amazon through seller and vendor. It really depends on the people that you get in touch with, and that changes all the time. But that can be a legitimate way, and I think. It was almost common practice for people when they were launching a product to have a coupon on there that people could buy the product for free or heavily discounted for a review. Now that was okay, but now Amazon's policy is that it's heavily policing that. You can't do that anymore. So like the Amazon routes of being able to stimulate reviews for new listings in the States, that's good. And at the vendor level, there's Vine program where they have their certified reviewers on the platform. You may see them, and but that's at a cost, depending on your terms, but typically starts at £500/$dollars upwards, depending on what terms you negotiate with Amazon.
I seem to be having a few minor issues, so if you guys have just covered something that I'm about to ask, then apologies for that. So where do we get to? Okay, so right, what else? Are there any books that you guys recommend at all at the moment?
Yeah, for me, Amazon SEO X is one of the best, because I have a lot of lists of negative or positive effects to growing and to create a perfect URL, perfect content to sharing original content, and with a keyword, some features like not create a backlink strategy for SEO for Amazon. So for me, it's a very good, not like a book, but like a Bible. Really, it's very important if you want to approaching the SEO Amazon the first time to read it.
Okay. So That's perfect. Okay. Another sort of question that came through was business to business on Amazon. Now, I'd never really considered that to be a big part of Amazon, but actually, when I'm buying something, the next day delivery is something that I kind of rely on quite a lot. So I think most of my business to business purchases are actually on Amazon now. What do you guys think? And is there anything differently you guys do? Is there anything that you kind of recommend?
Okay.
Yeah, Prabhat, let's start with you.
Yeah, sure. So what we are seeing with B2B is we can give a quantity discount on the products, and we can differentiate the pricing from B2C to B2B, and that can be very significant. Say, for example, if a business buyer is looking for, and say, for example, a university is looking for notebooks, and they find a branded notebooks on Amazon and look for and go to the product listings there. In that case, because they are listed with because they are a business buyer, the immediate buy box will be won by somebody who is business seller automatically. So for that, it means a business. If you are a business, if you are registered as a business seller, and otherwise you may not win that buy box.
Awesome. Okay. Anybody else got any thoughts? Yeah, I just think if anyone's interested in looking at it, is the Google Amazon Business. You can set up a business account for your own business, but it's worth looking at the benefits it has for the account. So you can have different payment terms. In some instances, VAT-free pricing. So I think for a business, it is appealing. I don't think it's widely known in the marketplace yet, but we see with some clients, say, for example, we've got Gelinite, which is like rust remover and a product that they're seeing quite a few business sales coming through, which, like mechanics and small workshops and things like that. So it's something to be aware of. But certainly, I don't think it's widely known in the marketplace. Okay. Another question that's come through is, how do you deal with these sort of out-of-stock products? Hello? Yeah, Prabhat.
Yeah, sure. So for any products which is out of stock, it's good to leave as out of stock and not trying to bump up the price in hoping that your product will stay on. There has been few experiments done to see the difference between increase of the price and let the stock go out of stock. And what we found, when the stock comes back into stock, the ranking of the product changes yes, it will take time, but the ranking of the product will improve in a shorter span of time than increasing the price.
Okay. I'm just looking to see if there's any more questions come in.
Basically,
right. So I think one of the sort of quick questions was, how do you get in the top 10 on the Amazon search results? Short answer from both of you, or three of you, sorry.
From mine, the best is to create original content inside with keyword strategies without bullet point, very fresh content to engage the user and engage the Amazon algorithmic, and also like normal SEO strategies, complain a perfect title pages, meta description pages, because Amazon, like Google, when you don't fill field from title pages, meta description, Amazon fill for you. It is not a good idea to leave empty the field, but complain all the issues for SEO. like a Google is the same for Amazon.
Yep. Okay. Matt, same question.
Well, in short, I mean, you're looking to outrank the competition, and some of the basic principles of SEO apply. But the A9 algorithm is very much the algorithm for Amazon, for those who are not aware. it's very much based around relevancy and also time spent on page. So if I'm searching for a product and I look at it and I bounce off because it's not relevant to me, then the algorithm will suppress it. So basically, you should be targeting relevant keywords, not trying to spam competitor brand names because people searching for a Coca-Cola are not likely to buy a Pepsi. And look to outbid the competition as well with advertising. FBA helps, but also looking to outsell the competition. Amazon looks at sales velocity for a product. So, the top 10 are likely to be very well optimized, will have very good content. So it comes down to who's selling more, because Amazon is a profit-making machine. You're not going to rank #1 if you're not selling as much as the other guys. So it's looking at deals, promotions, what you're doing off the site on social and etc. to promote that product as well. So be aware of like a sales retail strategy for your product as well going forward.
So another question, the ownership of the customer kind of lives with Amazon, doesn't it? So how do you guys kind of like establish yourself as being more kind of like connected to the customer? Is there any kind of like secrets that you can do? Or is there any way you can sort of suggest that they sign up for your own email or engage with them in a way to sort of almost have you as a preferred seller? Prabhat, I think that's one for you first, John.
Okay, cool. So yeah, to get engaged with Amazon customers, there isn't any other way than communicating through Amazon messages. Amazon doesn't allow you to collect any email address, any details as such. But also what we've found quite useful is to put your branding content with the product. And that's something that we are telling we are the brand, and we are telling if there is any issue with the product, do get in touch with us. But that's a nice way of keeping that relationship active with the customers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Matt?
Yeah, I think, what you can't explicitly promote on the box about sort of Amazon reviews. I believe Amazon don't like that as much, but slips in your product, register your product, get in touch. One nice tactic we do with Hill Farm Oils, one of our clients, is a little dongle on the bottle with a recipe card. So you drive people to the site, check out our recipes for inspiration, and then you've got an opportunity to data capture there on your own website. So think about what's in the box and how you're communicating with the customer as well.
Perfect. Okay. One of the other sort of questions was on unique imagery. You've mentioned this briefly, Prabhat, but how do you kind of generate the unique imagery, and how important is that?
Right. So with images, if we are listing our product on Amazon, we are technically allowing other people to use that images if that product is the same. Right? Am I answering this right? Am I understanding your question right?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, but when we create a list of product, it's good to create your own image so that you are taking images from different angles of the product, so product details are shown very clearly. But yesterday, I had an email from one of our vendors saying their part of the images was used by somebody else. Mm-hmm. And that is infringing. What they have done is they've taken part of our image and imposed few text on it and imposed other images on it, selling their own product. So we are talking with Amazon to remove their product, and potentially their product will be suspended. And if there is multiple of those offense costs, then their account can get suspended on that. So we have to be very careful, with the images, not to use somebody else's image if that's not the same product. But also any writing the text is not allowed within the image. And Amazon clearly says the image should be 1,000 pixels minimum on the longest side, because that allows customers to zoom the product image and see very well.
Okay, I mean, Tim Wright actually did sort of ask in the chat actually about basically whether or not if you put in all the hard work, flesh out the descriptions, everything else like that, if there's multiple sellers on the page, what's stopping them from almost taking the hard work that you've invested into it? Prabhat to start with, and then Matt.
Yeah, sure. So with the content, say for example, I'm talking about Dove soup, for example. So our vendor does a very hard work putting the content out. As a reseller of that product, when we sell that product, we don't need to create the content. We just jump into that listing. So that's within the Amazon's principle, that's perfectly allowed. Yeah. So that, yeah, Matt.
Yeah, I think there's one of a few things really. Creating your brand, making sure your brand is registered on the brand registry, because then you have a certain amount of control over the content. So what we see sometimes, you have third parties jumping in on the listing, changing some of the content maybe, and then you have to sort of constantly monitor that listing. So that will help there. But you know, if you're buying directly from the brand versus a third party, you know, that can actually increase conversion, protect. But you know, there's ultimately Amazon is a marketplace. They're very clever at being able to make sure that there's a product is always in stock, because third parties will be there, and the price is going to be keen. But also looking at your distribution through third parties, you know, where are the people getting the product from, and structuring your pricing with a caveat. You must keep in within competition law. But you know, you're just really aware of that, because you know, as a brand, you have the direct, you're manufacturing a product. You should be able to, you know, be keener on pricing the third party that's buying a product from you. But it's a constant discussion. A lot of our vendors and sellers are like, you know, third parties are doing this, that, and another. And how do we manage it? It's having a strategy in place, and around distribution is usually good. You know, you look at the big brands like Bose and Sonos, for example, on Amazon, they've got their distribution nailed down. They've got very select third parties, and the pricing is very standardized as well. So, I mean, you should be looking at aiming at that sort of model, really.
Okay, we've had a question come in about super URLs, and I actually didn't know what they were. I literally just Googled them. Do you guys use them? Do you know anything about super URLs?
If I'm honest, no. I've seen.
Yeah.
I've seen some people trying to use Amazon URLs with certain keywords in there to sort of as a backlink strategy, and as I'm aware, that doesn't work very well. But no, we don't use them.
Okay, Prabhat, do you know any more about them?
Yeah, at one time, there were tools out there, and I think still there are, which essentially embed certain keywords onto the URL. Mm-hmm. And that is to tell the algorithm that your product is ranked for that particular word. And that is very strongly frowned by Amazon, so which is why it's not part of our SEO strategy in today's session.
Yeah.
Awesome, brilliant. Okay, right. Next question. What do you guys perceive as being like the future of Amazon selling? And you know, this can include like the fact that you know they are pushing things like voice and other bits and pieces. So, honestly, this is a question that I personally would like to know the answer to, because I mean, I've got an Alexa. I don't think I've ever purchased anything with it, but I'm kind of conscious that that's something that is coming up hard and fast now. Emmanuel, do you want to start with this one?
Yeah, like Google, for logical, Amazon is the same situation for voice research. I mean, and for advertising, because it's the most important thing to monetize for Amazon. Because now Amazon is like a search engine. All the people research in Amazon, like in Google, when you research a product, the first thing is going to the Amazon to research. Like with a tab or via voice, the voice now is very growing. Every day. It's not every month or every year. It's every day is growing. You research in your car when you're driving, and for me, Amazon maybe understand better who the user research for the complex query inside the search engine, and maybe soon we need to have a news about the new algorithm from Amazon, because it's like a Google. They change the algorithm every time when the research change, I think.
Perfect. Okay, same question to Matt. Actually, one thing you did mention is the fact that Amazon is such a search engine. I've actually heard people say, I've Googled this on Amazon as a kind of verb, and it's just something which strikes me as being something that actually I now do as well. I'm an Amazon Prime member, and if I kind of go, actually what I need is a pair of Bluetooth headphones, my journey often starts on actually starts somewhere else. So Matt, over to you.
Yeah, it's enormous. I was at Amazon a couple of weeks ago, and they were saying there's 40 million accounts in the UK alone, and about 21 million people a month searching on Amazon, to give you an idea. And that's probably one of the reasons why we don't focus too much on like a backlink strategy, because your audience is enormous and it's there within the Amazon ecosystem. I think that's only going to increase with the likes of Alexa. There's another way of Amazon being able to outreach. And I think voice search as a whole, you've got to think about, the number of unique searches there are via voice. People use different colloquialisms for searching for products. Example being like a washing line, or is it a clothesline, or is it a clothes horse, or whatever. So more long tail keywords I think will be appeared, and there'll be opportunities there. But yeah, Amazon's got 70% of the voice market already, and is streets ahead of the likes of Facebook, still trying to think about how to enter the market and voice search products. So I think that's going to be big. And so back to your Amazon's Choice badge, that's going to be even more important. But also Amazon Skills, I think it's great. I know we were talking about sort of, wouldn't it be great if you have a Samsung TV, and when it appears, you go, Alexa, it's arrived, and then Alexa will tell you how to set the TV up. So there'll be opportunities for cross-selling, upselling, etc. And dash buttons as well. I don't know if you've seen those at all, where you can buy a button for repeat sale products like Brabantia bin liners, for example, or washing powder. And I think Amazon's looking to get partnerships with third parties like Sonos, and also Whirlpool, the washing machine manufacturer, to have those buttons built into it. So I think it's a very interesting space. It's not just a search engine; it'll be a whole sort of customer ecosystem within 5 to 10 years.
So guys, my internet dropped again, so I'm not quite sure where we got with that. Pravat, did you answer that question? Sorry.
I answered it, and I kept on going because you dropped out and you're back again.
Awesome. Okay, well, that's the main questions. I guess the kind of like the next question is what's the sort of like the next steps. So, firstly, have you guys got contact details?
Yes. Yep.
Where do we reach you? Are you on Twitter or?
I'm on Twitter. I'm at Mr. Matt Anderson, and I'm on LinkedIn as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I'm on Twitter day-to-day eBay, and it's usually you can find me if you Google my name, Pravat Shah. It's nice to have an awkward name sometimes.
If you want up-to-date information, just follow at Marketplace Amp as well. We're posting all the time about Amazon and other marketplaces.
Yep. My detail is Emanuele Rosio into LinkedIn, or in Facebook, in Twitter right now. I'm disconnected on Twitter only via LinkedIn.
Hello, Joey, you there? I think you might have dropped out again. Prabhat, have you got any sort of final thoughts on Amazon?
Yeah, sure. So I think touching base on the last point where Amazon is going, I think it's a good opportunity for anyone and everyone to sell on Amazon. And I think SEO is a good factor to consider, but also it's a good factor to look at the strategy. Like Matt rightly touched base on putting the right strategy in place since they start. It's a good key to Amazon's success. You've rightly mentioned about somebody buying reviews and trying to correct it. Now, in a lot of online retailers, they don't know the full circle of how Amazon works. So it's good to put some strategy in place to say, okay, you are working on certain strategy for a certain month, and follow the step-by-step method of content-rich listing, which Emmanuel rightly put out when we create the listings, then work on product reviews. You've mentioned about Amazon Vine reviews and working through the process, and it will work for everyone.
Yeah. And we talked about Emmanuel and yourself, we talked about like content-rich listings. Can we just go, I don't think we've gone through the different options of like for sellers and vendors of how to get more content, like enhanced brand content, Emmanuel, or A+.
Yeah, because the fresh content is a right way to engage. I talked before, because when the big brand like us tell to go into the Amazon or to covering the Amazon store, because they have the website, the common website online, and also the Amazon web store. It's not simple to create another content because like Google, I repeat again, when you create a content to the Google pages, to the web pages, and you cannot copy and paste your content into the Amazon shop, but you need to create another one with another keyword strategies, because it's not complain, it's duplicate content, and you need to understand how you can create a perfect content strategies.
I think that whole, if you've got a really strong brand, I noticed that Gucci is pretty much putting most of its effort into Amazon store, and the content on there at the moment. Do you think that's a strong way to get across to the consumer?
Yeah, in some cases that they don't want to be a present in Amazon, only into your website.
Yeah,
the website, because Amazon is a competitor. Is create a big problem for benchmark because it's the same brand to competitor inside. It's very strange.
Yeah.
It's not a reseller. It's the brand, and the brand in some cases need to decide or remain into the official website or also going into Amazon.
Yeah. And I guess sort of Prabhat as well, you maybe see with some sellers that, that you know, they have their own stores and their own website. Yeah, what would you say the sort of the key sort of lookouts are there?
Yeah, so what we are seeing, Amazon have started to develop their own stores, which is for brand owners only at the moment.
Yeah,
and for vendors, they've had stores before. So if you are selling on the stores and with Amazon, you are very likely that you may get higher amount of sales on Amazon because there's a loyalty there, customer's address is there, card details are there, so the checkout process is seamless. Whereas in the stores, we are working on developing our own keyword strategy and so on, and that may take a longer time. So, but also it's not good to just sell on Amazon, because we didn't touch base on the things like suspension, and it's a very much a bigger issue. For certain reason or for some reason, your account can get suspended, and suddenly you are out of business for a period of time. You can get it back, but for a week or so, or for a month, when you're suspended, you've got no sales. So it's always nice to have your web presence and start working on the web presence sooner than later you start selling on Amazon.
Yeah, it's that sort of chicken and egg, isn't it? Really, when people are launching a brand, is do you put 20 to 50 to £100,000 into your own e-commerce website? So to do it properly, we're talking about those figures minimum, or do you put the same amount of time and effort into Amazon and get a much larger return? And that's
yeah. So typically, what we are seeing, because the result is quicker on Amazon, it's natural for any retailer to invest a little bit of time on Amazon, a bit more than their web presence. But when there is a time that Amazon business is running smoothly to a standard, then it's a good thing to spend a bit more time on the website.
Yeah, and I guess Emmanuel, as a brand, you'll have at least a revenue stream, but you still need that connection with the consumer, don't you? Which you don't necessarily directly get through Amazon. You're on mute.
Okay, you can hear me here. Okay, for the customer, we are keeping in touch every day, because it's very important to create a quick feedback for the answering, which model is it, which color, or you have more sites of image to sharing, or if you have a video, because it's important to sharing not only the images, but also if you have the video, is very important to sharing to growing the engage of the user.
Okay, well, that's great, guys. I think we're just coming up to time. So thanks for all your time. And hopefully all the viewers have found this useful. So thanks a lot. Thanks for coming.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.